Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Why You Do What You Do by the Building Industry Association's Bay Area Young Professionals. I'm your host, Mark Sherlock. Today's guest is the CEO of John Burns Real Estate Consulting. Please welcome John Burns.
Thanks,
John,
Mark.
great to have you on the show today. How you doing?
Good. It's nice to be somewhat back in the Bay Area where I grew up.
Very nice.
Yep.
So, John, I gave you a brief description of the format. We got 3 questions for you. Answer them however you like, and we'll get started. So, John, how did you get to the CEO of John Burns Real Estate Consulting?
A lot of hard work, a lot of years. Learned a lot along the way from a lot of smart people. It's been a great ride. Great industry too.
So, John, could you give me a little backstory? Where did you come from? Where did you start up in your career? And kind of how did that lead you down into the real estate consulting world?
I grew up in the Bay Area to a family full of accountants, and so I kind of had a conservative bent background, if you will. I did the CPA thing myself for a couple of years, went to grad school, came down south, and joined KPMG's consulting practice. So I was at KPMG for 8 years in their consulting practice. They changed into a real estate consulting practice. And then I learned a lot during the S&L debacle of the 90s. We did a lot of workouts for a lot of builders that went belly up. We were working more for their banks. And so I learned just a boatload from other people's mistakes. And I saw an opportunity to say, you know what, nobody's really doing research to help people figure out what's going on in the market. The commercial real estate industry was pretty good at it, and the residential was not. And so I just said, I think there's an opportunity for somebody to spend the money to figure it out, charge them less than the cost of a person to do it for them, and it'll be a win for everybody. So that's how we got here.
Very nice. Now, how did John Burns develop? Was that the whole process? Did you kind of go out on your own and kind of establish that? Did you have different groups? Like, what kind of led you down to doing your own work?
The company I was working for in 2001 blew up, so that was the impetus to finally go out on my own. When I was in business school, I had the most influential 3 hours of my career by far. Was I got to spend 3 hours with Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard when I was a summer intern at HP. And the way they talked passionately about building a company and the people, and it was called the HP Way. Just really made me want to be an entrepreneur someday. I did start a company that year. It failed miserably. I learned a lot from that. And then, I don't know, many years later, I started this.
Very nice. Well, as somebody who does know people who work for you, John, it definitely has its own culture. You definitely built your own way within John Burns. So it's definitely resonating.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the introduction to your sister, by the way. She's working out. I do have a small world story for you on that. My wife grew up in Liverpool, New York, where your sister lives.
Very nice. I did not know that.
Yeah. So I went home one day and said, hey, we have an office in Liverpool, New York. Go figure.
Awesome. So, John, I got a second question for you. What was the most inspirational moment that has shaped your career path?
It probably was that, honestly. It was Hewlett and Packard, and they were in their 80s at the time, and just so down to earth and so about what they'd done for the world and the people they worked with. And that's what I feel like we're doing now with the way we're growing the company and hiring great people. We call them PALS, for passionate, articulate, likable, and smart. That's our acronym. And so far it's been great.
Awesome. So, John, third and final question, the theme behind the whole show. Why do you do what you do?
I keep answering the questions before you ask them. So
yeah.
it's with the people I work with. That would be, our core values are really around 2 things. It's around our people and having a great team and growing together with our pals. And the other is providing solutions for our clients that everybody considers to be the most honest, timely, valued solutions to help them navigate through the industry and the big decisions they're making. So that's our purpose. To help executives make informed decisions and to help them understand today to navigate tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, thanks, John. I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk about why you do what you do and a little bit about John Burns Real Estate. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
You too, Mark. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, John. And that concludes another episode of Why You Do What You Do. I'm your host, Mark Sherlock, and always remember, why you do what you do.